Welcome, GMB pros. Welcome everyone that's on the live. We had a pregame warm up here a little bit. I had to put it on pause. Like, wait, hold the stories, hold the stories. I love these stories. I love the interaction that's happening here. So I'll give you a quick background. Those that are watching on Facebook, feel free to put in any questions you may have. I'll keep an eye on it. Um, but let me give you guys a background. You guys know, right? I'm digital marketer, have an agency, and I grew really quick. And you guys will hear a lot, like even me now say, hey, set up your processes, set up your SOPs. Like, man, I only have one or two clients. What is he talking about? Like you hear these things over and over and over. Guys, set up your process, set up your SOPs. You'll thank me later. Gosh, I wish I would have listened and done this a long time ago, right? Because it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna grow, you're going to and we'll hear some stories. Michelle was telling us a little bit about hers. You want to be world class at what you do, right? You never want to drop the ball. If you have an idea, you want to put it on paper. If you have a process, if you have a recipe, you want to lay it out, polish it. You'll hear different things, right? You'll hear things from here, GMB pros, different guests that I have, and you're like, that would fit good into what I have. And you'll hear me say it. Don't wipe away your process, add to it, polish it, make it better, right? But if you don't have it like in a central place where it does certain things, automations, where it does reminders, where it tracks, who does the task go to? Man, things will fall apart, right? Things will fall apart. This will make life super easy. And hey, Sue, I'm glad you're here because you're one of the people that I'm like, man, I hope she's here today. I think you're gonna get some value based on some of our conversations we had. So I'm glad you're here. Um, I'm growing, I'm doing my thing. Like, man, I need to deliver customer service world class. I need to be the best. I want to conquer the world, right? I need to be the best. So I need to get this stuff out of my head onto paper. So I started looking for a project manager, like platform, right? I wanted to like what I need a program to keep track of everything that I said, my processes, my onboarding, my emails, my communication to the who's doing what. And I ClickUp, right? A couple of colleagues, you guys probably met Chad and Raphael, and people in the seven-figure agencies. A lot of people use ClickUp. I said, okay, let me ClickUp it is. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just doing it. I got on ClickUp and like I need some help. We don't offer help, but we have authorized people that are certified, people that have gone through training, people that use it. Okay, perfect. From California. I want everybody from California. So I send a list out. I send emails out to everybody on that list from California that could help me with ClickUp. And along came my bestie, my new best friend right now, Mary, right? We got on a call. Mary, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, no problem, Alfred. And she's been a super lifesaver. She's helped me get my thoughts on paper. It hasn't been easy. We integrate Stripe, we integrate onboarding, how things like have like that waterfall effect, right? One thing will do to the other and integrate it. And it's been fabulous. I wish I would have started this a lot sooner. The chats that built in Zapier. Michelle was talking about the automations and the emails and stuff that goes out automatically. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So guys, I'm using it. It's been a lifesaver for me. It's been a little bit of a learning curve, but it has nothing to do with Mary or ClickUp. I think it's just me, right? And technology and implementing the new process, like anything new, the heavy lifting is done at the beginning. So Mary, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Now, I got to give credit. And Mary has taught me a lot along the way here, big time. She's really like, gosh, I never want Mary like, oh, here comes Alfred, or when she sees a message like, oh my God, but she's really leveled me up in more than one way. So if you guys see, when you guys come onto the Zoom channel, that video that pops up there and all that, Guess who helped me with that? And guess who gave me that idea? It's been Mary. So you guys have her to thank. But Mary, obviously, for those that don't know you, if you can tell us a little bit about your background, how you got to this point, how you picked ClickUp, why ClickUp, just give us a little bit of background, how you got to this point.
Okay. I won't go too far back, I promise. But I did grow up in a household where like my dad worked on computers. He was a network engineer for the military, and computers were just a way of life. Like if anybody's as old as I am, you'll remember like dot matrix printers and like DOS prompts, everything. Like that was my world. I grew up with it. Went to school for computer science and then did a pivot into business systems and organizational operations. And so I spent a good 23-year career in corporate organizational effectiveness. That's HR, leadership development, program management, and helping teams figure out how to be more effective with each other. Now, I left my corporate career, went full time into my consulting practice and what I do now. And I naturally gravitated towards business operations, helping teams figure out how to do all the work that they're doing today, but in a more efficient, scalable, automated way. Because systems, although I didn't like programming them in school, I love using them to get work done. So that's kind of where we are today. I am both an Asana services partner and a ClickUp verified consultant. And so I will say I do have a favorite, ClickUp. I love ClickUp because it's more than just a project management tool. It's more than just task management and figuring out, okay, how do I keep myself organized and know exactly what I have to do and when? It truly can be a consolidated all-in-one business platform for you if you know how to set it up and use it to the best of your advantage. And so luckily for me, ClickUp ends up becoming such a blank slate for people that they get into it and they're like, oh, I don't know where to start, so I'm just not going to do anything with it. And that's where I come in, is I help you understand, okay, your business, how are you getting work done today? And then we set up ClickUp to do that work for you and with you. So
Yes, 100%. Again, guys, and this is not, I don't think ClickUp is based like company size. Day one, get it set up, get it set up. Um, Big time, big time. Now, Mary, if you can kind of take us through that journey of like ClickUp, like what it's been through, what just kind of like what it can do to kind of give us an aha, like, man, I never thought about that, or I never thought about this. If you can kind of take us like, how can day one, or hey, I have 10 clients, or I have 30 clients, or what can we use this for? How can ClickUp make us like better?
I think I can do you one better. I actually have slides. I know.
Do it.
Is
Good
everybody
thing.
okay? At least the ones that I can see on Zoom, every thumbs up. I can share my screen. I'm going to walk you through kind of my 5 steps for getting started with ClickUp,
Awesome.
and help everybody understand what exactly we're talking about. And then we can definitely pause for Q&A, like ask your questions as we go. So it doesn't feel like a lecture. I don't want it to be a lecture.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so perfect. You can see my slides. So I'm going to talk through like my recommended 5 steps for getting started with ClickUp. And this is my tagline. I love it, but we're all about turning workloads into workflows. And ClickUp, like I said, is my preferred tool. I am going to skip over the formalities since we did do a little bit of an introduction, but I do this with organizations as small as like a team of 2 to 5 people. We also do this with corporate and global organizations with hundreds and thousands of employees and their teams, not just in the organization. So ClickUp can be a super powerful tool, no matter which like maturity level or scale of your business you're in. Now, I say it's an all-in-one productivity tool. It really, truly is a business effectiveness tool, a business system that I end up not being able to do my business without it. I've implemented this for a lot of solo entrepreneurs and a lot of agencies where they're doing a lot of client-based service work, which I know all of you likely on this call are doing today. And it does things like yes, you can do task management, project management in it, but you could do goal planning. You can use documents and collaborate with clients and team members in documents, whiteboards. There's a chat functionality, which Alfred didn't know about. I actually chatted him in his ClickUp workspace when we started working together, and he's like, "Oh, wait, what is this? What are we doing now?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're talking, and we're not having to use email to do it." There's forms, as Michelle knows, emails, dashboards, and what they're calling the ClickUp Brain, their AI tool. I love AI, so if anybody has questions about AI and ClickUp AI, I'm more than happy to show you how our team uses it, because I was recognized as one of the top 1% of their global AI users in the platform. Love it every day. But let's talk through those 5 steps, and please flag me down, ask questions if questions are coming in from the group or in chat, anybody. So step number 1, I say create a business hub. When you get in there, and I will show you an example in my workspace even, you can create a place where you have one centralized resource of all the important information about your business. I don't know how many times I've gone out to do proposals with customers. I'm signing up to do a proposal at the moment. They're asking me for like my UEI number and federal ID number. I'm not going to go through all of my paperwork and emails and try to find that information. It's all in my ClickUp space that represents I call it my headquarters, my HQ. So company information, team information. I have a team. This point last year, I had 8 people working for me. And so it gives me access to all the contact information that I need in order for me to feel like I'm in touch with who my team members are. SOP library. I saw there was a question in chat, like, what are SOPs, standard operating procedures? So basically, like all of the, yes, and Michelle, I see in chat, will you be able to share a slide deck? Yes, I will share this with you all. But SOPs are standard operating procedures. So all the policies and the step-by-step details on how to do anything in your business, things that you know you're going to want to delegate to someone else eventually. I say document it. And it doesn't have to be pretty, right? It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles. It just needs to be documented in a way where you can hand that over to someone and they know exactly how to do those things in your business for you. So those are SOPs. I have a list of what's all of the software I use in my business. And by the way, what are those dates when those subscriptions are going to renew? So I know exactly what I might want to sunset and get rid of next year. Maybe I'm coming up on a deadline for a software renewal and I'm realizing I didn't really use it the way that I thought I would. I can go ahead and cancel it and save myself some money. So I list that, branding materials, and even information about offers you have in case you're onboarding new team members and you need them to know those details to support you in your business. So creating a business hub, I would say, is number 1. And again, I'll share after the slides. I'm happy to click over into the actual ClickUp workspace and show you an example of what this looks like. But that centralized place, even if you don't have a team, it's just good for you. So you don't have to go figure out, do I have a paper file somewhere? Is it in my email? Is it somewhere on Google Drive, Dropbox? Where is that thing? You can put it into ClickUp in one centralized place. So you can easily just search the system and find what you need when you need it. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, I would say, is setting up your workspace. Spend a little bit of time thinking about, how is your business structured? How do you and your team get work done? Right? ClickUp. So when you log in and set up a ClickUp for the first time for your business, it's called your workspace. It's the whole like login and instance of ClickUp for you. And so there's spaces, there's folders and lists. And again, I'll show you what this looks like in the system, but like a space, I say you organize that by maybe department or team. I know for me, I have the headquarters space, that resource hub. I have internal like team operations. I have a marketing space, and then I have a space for client services and all of the work we do for our clients. So whatever space you organize, and you see some examples there on the screen, the space just says everything in here is related to this area. Then we have folders within a space. Those folders will help you keep projects organized. So maybe you have a folder that's a client or business name that you're working with. And then all of the lists and documents within that folder are everything related to your work with that client. So it keeps it organized and you know where to find things. And then the lists are going to represent like the client project, account management or reporting, anything that you're doing related to that work. So I would say number 2 is to set up your workspace. Number 3 is to set up the projects. Now, I've worked with a lot of teams who say, oh, we're not project managers, right? Our company, we have project managers. I've seen project managers, they associate project management with you're managing like software development or construction projects, events. We're all project managers, whether you consider yourself one or not, because you're managing tasks, whether you're managing like repeatable tasks that you're doing for clients SEO every month, whether you're managing like content creation to market you and your business. Those are tasks, things that you're doing ad hoc or repeatable. And you're managing deadlines and who's doing what. And so tasks are going to represent those actionable activities. And when you put it into your ClickUp system or any other system today, I say start with a verb. That way you're being very clear with yourself, with others, what you want to get done. If you just said client onboarding email, is it write a client onboarding email, send it, follow up with it, right? So without that actionable verb, it's not clear what you need to get done. Subtasks will help you break up the work even more so. And so let's say that send the client onboarding email. Maybe you're new to what you're doing. You don't even have a client onboarding email. A subtask might be, okay, let's write a draft. Let's come up with a draft for it first. Maybe that's something you pull in help from a friend or a team member to do, give them their own due date, and then you send the client email. So it's just going to help you break up the work in a little bit of a different way. Custom fields, if you're not using custom fields and you're using a project management system today, definitely consider starting. Custom fields are going to give you a lot more relevant information into your work. I would say things like understanding project stage. And I'm going to actually show you how we use like the project stage custom field in ClickUp to help you better organize a project list. And this is something Alfred's like nodding. This is something we even did in his ClickUp workspace, was start establishing consistency in how we set up custom fields. Client addresses, website URLs, those are all things that you don't have to put in like a task description and have it get lost. You can actually create fields so you can have consistency across your projects. You can report on that information and use it in automations and dashboards and other things. So set up your projects is number 3. Any questions? Because I talk fast and like I used to be a trainer too. So I get into the training mode and I just keep going. So please flag me down if any questions do come up. Okay, so step number 4 is to set up automations. We will show you examples of this. I will actually like ask Michelle, like, Michelle, share an example of like the automation you were talking about when we first kicked off the meeting. Like, how has it, like, what did you do and how has it helped you in your business?
You want me to share right now?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Okay. So one of the things I do in my business is web design, in addition to SEO and stuff like that. But one of the big things I do is web design. And I was always having people email me saying, hey, can you do this edit? Or can you do this? Can you add a picture? Can you change my hours? Whatever. And when you get hundreds of emails in your inbox every day, it's easy for little tasks that people need done to just slip through the cracks. And so one day somebody had emailed me. I didn't know it. It was like a Friday night when they emailed me. And then all the emails that come through over the weekend. And by the time I got to Monday, that email just was gone and I never saw it. And so he called me like, why didn't you do that thing I asked you to do? It was just a simple little edit on his website, but he needed it done and I didn't see it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this ever happen again. So I'm going to create an automation. So I went in ClickUp because I had already been using ClickUp. And I thought, I think I could make this super easy for people. So I went in ClickUp and I created a form inside ClickUp. I created the little status, like the to-do, like it's in to-do mode when it first becomes a task, and then it goes to in progress, and then it goes to the next step, whatever step you want to give it. So I gave it in progress, feedback needed, feedback given, and complete. And so those are my steps. And on each, well, let me back up. So I created a link on my website, and it takes them to that form. And the form will ask them for their name, the URL that they need edited, a brief description of the task, when they need it done, like the due date, all these little things that I need. And then the URL, and I think I already said that. Anyway, so it basically has everything that's required to do it. Oh, and a little place where they can upload a file if they need to upload pictures that they want added or something like that. So I put that on my website, set up all the automations, connected it to my email, and when the task comes in to my form, there's an automation that will automatically email the person saying, thank you, we received your request. And it pulls, so whatever the name they gave me, their name, it'll say, hi, Jason. Thank you for your request for, and it pulls the task name that was like part of the form they filled out. So it looks like it's a very customized email, like someone sat down and typed it out to them, but it's really just automated. And so it names the task, the due date, and blah, blah, blah. It gives them everything, like, thank you for sending this in to us. We'll get started on it ASAP. Have a great day, whatever. And then as soon as I click in progress inside ClickUp, it fires off another automated email to that person saying, hey, just want to let you know your task is in progress, and it names their task and blah, blah, blah. And same thing. And then when it's done, I send off a little feedback needed, and it's another automated email that goes to them and says, hey, take a look at the URL, that it grabs the URL from the task that they sent. Take a look at this. Let us know if we got it right. If everything looks great, thumbs up, and we'll approve it, and it'll be complete. If they send something back saying, oh, you missed this or whatever, then we have a chance to fix it before we mark it complete. And then once they say that it's good, we click on the complete, which makes the task complete. And it sends them a thank you for your business. We appreciate you. Your task is complete. And then it sends them to a little survey to ask them how would you rate the service you received, and blah, blah, blah. And then from there, it takes them to a Google review, to leave a review on Google. So it's like the whole thing. I'm not having to sit there and like say, hey,
do that for every single client. Yeah.
I know. I was doing that before by hand. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is ridiculous. There's no need for all of this. I don't need to be doing this per person. So now it's just like, boom, boom, boom. We can get through the edits, and everyone feels like they're getting great service because you're being so attentive to them and you're not doing anything, but they feel like you're taking such good care of them, and you are, but like you're doing a much better job because the automations are in place, and it just makes it like so easy to take care of. And the other cool thing is I don't have to check my email to see if someone sent me a request. It's in ClickUp, and I've trained people. As soon as they're done with their website, like as soon as I'm done creating their website, I'm like, hey, now if you need edits from here on out, this is the link you go to. And I keep, like, there's a few stragglers that still try to call me or send me emails, but those people, I just keep saying, and here's the link. Or I'll go fill out the link for them so that it fires off the automation. And then at the end of that, it has a reminder that here's the link for next time. Like, I think that's built into the thing, into the automation. So I'm always reminding them in a very nice way, like, here's your link, that way they're not it's easier for them too, because nobody wants to take time out of the day to call you, and like people would rather just communicate, I think, by
Yeah.
email and just tell you what they want and be done with it, and not have to sit there and have a Zoom call for it, like for a stupid
Yeah.
edit. Like you don't need a Zoom call for that.
No, I want to piggyback on something that you said where they feel like they're taken care of, right? They're guided along the process. A lot of times people are nervous about automations because they think, oh, well, I want my experience to feel personable, right? People want to just work with me, and they are working with you. But when you set up automations, you're already thinking about all of those moments when they may have questions, right? And so you're feeding them information when it matters. Like the automations are going to make sure like they don't fall through the cracks, like you said, making sure their email and request isn't getting buried in your inbox somewhere. When we set up automations, we're being intentional with things that we want to happen, not just because we want to just like be hands off with manual tasks that we're doing over and over again, but because we care about the client experience.
Yeah. And the other thing too is it helps you set expectations. Like if somebody does send you a request on Friday at 5 p.m., it's not going to most likely be done the next day. Like it's not going to be on Saturday, usually when it's done. I mean, unless it's like an emergency, but like typically and inside that email that goes out, it has all of those expectations like, hey, typically it's going to be for a regular request, it's going to be like 1 to 3 business days. I mean, usually it's a matter of hours for me, but like I say that just to kind of under promise, over deliver type thing, because you never want people to think it's going to happen really fast. And then for whatever reason, you can't get to it. So I cushion myself a little bit, just so they know. So as soon as they get that first automated email with the task saying we got it, it sets the expectation right off the bat. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And
yeah. Oh, I'm seeing an interesting thread connected to automations happening in chat right now on Zoom. So
yeah, it's all inside Zoom. You don't even need Zapier for it.
Yeah, so there's
well, I don't think I'm using
ClickUp.
Zapier for that.
Yeah, you're for what you're explaining, you wouldn't need Zapier. So ClickUp, the reason, and well, one of the many reasons I love ClickUp as a platform is there are so many native integrations that don't require you to have a third-party tool like Make or Zapier. Now, I will say in the case that the use case where Alfred and I worked together to set up like automations in ClickUp for him, we use Zapier, but that's because we were integrating a completely different system, right? Stripe, our payment processor. We're able to do that using something like Zapier to have ClickUp and your other systems talk to each other. But when it comes to sending off automated emails associated with custom fields that you're setting up in your ClickUp forms, these kinds of things, you can have all of that triggered right within ClickUp. You don't need a third-party tool to set up those types of automations.
Yeah, we need to talk, Mary. We need to talk.
I was gonna say the only thing that like sometimes happens, and I think because I have this high security set up in my email, I have to reset my password every 30 days in my Gmail. And every single time I have to reset my password, it disconnects the connection in ClickUp. So I have to go back in and reset it up. And that's the only annoying thing about it. But other than that, like, and it's a little bit difficult to find that button that you have to, it's like a very hidden thing in ClickUp to integrate your email. You have to go into.
Maybe that's an SOP. I was going to say, maybe you set up a recurring task for yourself and ClickUp every 28 days to be proactive, reset your email, reconnect it and ClickUp. So you're doing it all at the same time versus I'm going to do it here in Gmail because I was prompted at the 30-day mark. And oh, I'll remember later when I go to ClickUp, and then your automations aren't triggering off the way you wanted them to. So set up a recurring task for you just under that 30-day mark. So you're being proactive about it.
I love that. Thank you. That's a great tip. Thank you. I'm gonna do that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's ClickUp. I can't say enough good things about ClickUp. Every single client I onboard gets their own project in there. Every page for their website has a task inside the thing, and then we click into that task. They can upload all their pictures into there, all their content into there. We can chat about that page by page by page, and move it along the process of to do, like in progress, complete, as they check everything off. And then once the whole project gets to green, we're ready to go live. It's awesome.
That is awesome. One day you and I should probably connect. I want to take a peek.
Oh, okay. I'd love to.
Awesome. Okay. So that was step number 4, is like setting up your automations in ClickUp. And like I said, yes, most of the stuff can be done within ClickUp. I say start there first, and you don't even have to use a tool like Zapier, and then start to expand from there once you've gotten settled in a little bit and discover what you want possibly done in other systems. I would say Zapier is good when you want something that you're doing in ClickUp to trigger something else in another system to happen for you, like sending out a contract from your CRM tool, or sending out an invoice from your payment processor, those types of things. That's when you would want to use Zapier, but otherwise you can do a lot of these automations right within ClickUp without a third-party tool.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know if ClickUp has, or is it in their roadmap to have, or maybe it's not ClickUp, maybe it's the other way around. But is there an integration for high level without using Zapier, or do you have to have Zapier right now if you're using high level?
Go high level,
Go high level.
Honestly, I don't know. I have used Go High Level with a past retainer client, but we never integrated it with ClickUp in their instance. And so we would have to take a peek at that. I'll take a look because now I'm curious.
Okay. I was curious too, because I love automation, and there's a lot of automation inside Go High Level. And if there'd be a way to like integrate all that together, it'd be really cool.
Yeah. Go High Level is really great for marketing and kind of like relationship management. Whereas ClickUp is, I would say, awesome at everything else.
Yeah, everything else.
Everything else.
I know. Like if I could move my ClickUp dashboard inside High Level, it would be like so great.
Perfect. And then step number 5 for getting started with ClickUp is getting comfortable with pulling in all of your communication and collaboration right within ClickUp. Like I mentioned, there is chat functionality, so you can actually chat with your team members right within the tool, depending on what level of access you give clients even into ClickUp. You can give them a client dashboard and communicate and chat with them back and forth within a client-specific dashboard you set up in ClickUp. And then you can just comment on team members right within tasks. This is really good because my team knows, don't email me for anything work-related, business-related, because I reserve my emails for managing out all of the spam and things that I've signed up for over the years, but also I flag all of my clients and leads when communication comes through via email. So everything with our team happens just right within this one tool. Makes it really great to just streamline that communication. Awesome. So just to summarize and have everything up on one screen in case you did want to screenshot that, it's the 5 steps. I will share this slide deck with Alfredo, and he can share it out with the whole group. But if you're interested in kind of taking it another step further, I will pop into ClickUp and show you kind of a peek behind the scenes in a moment. But feel free to scan either one of these codes. The one on the left, in full transparency, because I am a verified consultant, I do get a little bit of an affiliate bonus for that referral, but the code on the left, if you scan that, will take you to sign up for ClickUp for free initially. And a lot of the functionality that you would expect you to have to pay for is even available on a free version of ClickUp to get started. Or if you want to jump into booking what I call a power hour with me, you can use that code on the right and it'll take you through the process to do so. So I'll leave this on the screen for just a moment, see if we have any other questions. And I'm happy, like I said, to give you all a peek into ClickUp itself.
Yeah, that would be great, guys. Take advantage of this. again, I even will share mine, kind of like what we got going on. So it's more relatable. I mean, I'm not sure what, I know Mary works with a lot of different clients, but I'll literally show you mine, how it's kind of cascading and what we need to you know what minds look like, how my head thinks, and as far as that's concerned, hopefully that will help you guys. And she literally will go in there. I started in a certain direction, and then I gave up and got Mary involved, and she's like, let me polish this for you, silly boy. And like, this looks a lot better aesthetically, visually. It'll pop for you. Let me if you don't mind, I'll share mine, Mary, and then I'll let you share yours. And then if you have any questions, guys, please do not hesitate. Let's see. Let me open it up. Actually, I don't have a Now I do have a question, Mary. I know
Yeah.
that ClickUp has a web base and also a actual app. Do they
Yes.
both sync with each other, but make updates or not updates on the
Yeah.
desktop versus the
A-
website?
Absolutely. I use a desktop app just because, I mean, you would be astonished how many Google profiles I have. I mean, you probably wouldn't. You all are in the same space. How many Google profiles I have for different client workspaces and everything else. So I use the desktop app, but I also use the mobile app. I know my team prefers using the web version of it, and it's always like up to date. It's always current.
So they all update each other.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. So let me share mine, guys. That way you guys can let's see how to do this is looking kind of, so this is mine here. So everybody's, I think, will look a little different. I think Michelle would agree. So on here, you'll see where I discovered the chat, and I'm still learning the chat. As you can see, I'm going back and forth with Mary. It does my Loom. Mary is a ninja when it comes to Zoom. She replies with Zoom, like makes it look super simple. I'm a Loom guy, but I need to level up. The chat that we were talking about again, my project manager, I got him in here. But the way my setup, in fact, I just sent Mary a video, is I have my onboarding, my cancellations on here. So I'll do maybe or maybe not, I offer reviews. But here's my onboarding for that, my onboarding for website GMB SEO. And I have two other services that I may or may not need to add on here. That's a question I had, because on my onboarding form, I tell them like, hey, I need Google access to this, Google Search Console. And then with the different options on here, like I'll click and let Nick know, like, hey, this is just reviews, or hey, this is just CTR, or this is just GMB, or this is the whole nine, like website, GMB, and SEO. So we're still figuring that out. That's something new I just added to my plate. But whether it needs to be in my head like separated, because what happens is from here, it goes into, well, there's a master task list here. Here's the actual task of each of those steps. Okay. And it's very kind of cool. Let's see, can we see it here? Where am I? Here.
I say
It's
click into your SEO too. Yeah, the SEO list. So,
this one, it's all laid out very well, very organized with the project status. And then you can you can set it up. There you go. You can set it up where if it's recurring or once the project is completed. I just asked Mary earlier if I can incorporate my Google or Excel sheet within the platform of ClickUp, so it's all one place. Everything everybody needs is here. So the idea is, this is where the master task list, it goes from the onboarding to active clients, right? And then now from the active clients, I can see, hey, we're doing GMB, or hey, we're doing SEO, or hey, it's just CTR, or hey, it's just the website and the GMB. And then we can click and see where the assignee goes, where everything is at as far as the due dates, priority. But now I can go in here and see all the tasks that we're doing for this client and where we're at with it.
Let
And
me
some
just
of the,
add, like, that client folder and this list that he's showing you. Nobody had to step in and actually create that. It all is automated from that form submission. So as soon as they submit the form, it recognizes with what choices were chosen on the form, like what services they're engaging with, and it automatically builds out the client's folder and list for the team.
so in reality, that's what I mean by having, this is my process, right? This is my GMB process, what I have to do, posting, pins, everything that I do, website build or set up. So that's my process out of my head, my formula, put it on here. And now I know where they're at, if this task got completed. And in some of these tasks have okay, right here, other, like find everything, right? So it's almost an SOP within here, and that needs to be done like when it comes to optimizing it, right? If you have like a checklist, like you can incorporate it in here. And that's one thing that I want to do is take my Google or Excel sheet and bring it in here, especially for different tasks, so I don't miss anything, but everything is on here. So this is kind of my setup. It's going to go from onboarding, pick the list, to active accounts. And then each active account, I'll be able to say, oh, Arrow Ridge, we're just doing GMB. Oh, Mary, we're doing CTR. Or Kyle, oh, we're doing reviews for him. Oh, Michelle, we're doing the website SEO with her, right? Everything will be on there, what those tasks is, so nothing falls through the cracks. So hopefully that helps. And then it for me, in my mind, who's doing it, where they at with it, is this recurring? And then one thing I want to incorporate, thank you, Michelle, is, hey, this onboarding started, right? We created, okay, we've done this, letting the client know. We've done this, letting the client know. That's an expectation of world-class like onboarding. Like my customers, I never want them to wonder what's going on, where we're at, where have you started this, have you not started this? And I'm using ClickUp to leverage that. Oh man, I missed a couple questions here. Will I get it? Onboarding? Carlos, will I get an what is it? Onboarding and a call if I go in also, Mary, can you show me what you do? Yeah. Michelle, can you go into and show me your steps? Yeah, I mean, Michelle has this down. When she showed me hers. Ooh, she has like the contract. You got to sign the contract, pay the invoice, and that generates an email. And now that I think about it, if I don't pay that invoice right away, yo, Alfredo, come on. You know, there's the invoice investment needs to be taken care of, and it cascades as well. If you want to show yours too. You're muted.
I'm
Oh,
muted.
sorry. You're talking to me?
Yeah, I was going to say, who do you want?
Oh, did I say Mary and Michelle? I'm sorry.
I think you meant to say Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Yeah, happy to show. And again, I have a little bit of different business model, right? I am a consultant but I still have clients. I still have our pretty standard list of everything that we do for every client. So let me share what I do. And again, I'm using the desktop application, but it doesn't look too far different from what you see. And you can see I have a lot of overdue tasks that I need to work on tonight. Okay, so this is the home screen in ClickUp. And on the left-hand side here, just to navigate, we were talking about setting up your ClickUp workspace. And what I mentioned was to set up your spaces, your folders, and your lists. The very first step was setting up your business reference hub. And this is my headquarters. So I have one space just dedicated to being a resource hub for me and my team members. If I expand this, I can see there's different lists in here. I have one for company information. I'm a big fan of emojis because I just like to break up all of the text that I see all day long on screen. Team, SOP library, etc. So if I click into any of these ones specifically, I can see what ones are private to just me, right? My team doesn't need to know some of these, like my seller's permit, documentation, and federal ID number, but it's in here in case I need to search for it. Because if I go in and type FEIN, I can easily find that information in the system versus trying to figure out where I stored that somewhere else. Let me just click on the space itself because I've set this up as a board view, and now I can see kind of all of the details that my team and I manage. And some of them we're attaching files, so we could just pull our logos and things right from within ClickUp. And some of them we're referencing outside links and other materials in order to see all of that information. But it makes it accessible to the team versus trying to remember what our naming convention and how we filed things away on our external drives. So that is your resource hub, and it gives you a really great way to just have all of the information up to date and accessible from within ClickUp itself. Setting up your spaces, I recommended you kind of organize it in a hierarchy or structure that makes sense for how you get things done. I have like internal team operations. I have a team built out just for content marketing. So I have content writers, I have video producers, and we're able to go through. We have my growing list of content ideas here in one list. And as soon as I come into any of my content ideas and I change the stage of this to drafting content, it immediately pushes it out to my team member who's responsible for helping me create the first draft of my content. In my content production project, you can see here, she and I are creating some content. My video producer knows when I am recording videos, and she and I are now collaborating in some projects. So that way I know where she's at with editing those videos that I've given her. And so we have content marketing, and then each one of my clients automatically get a folder set up for them with all of their, we have an account management list. We have an actual like service plan list where it's breaking it down into all of our project steps. We exactly know like how much time we need to estimate. My team tracks their billable time towards every client project right within ClickUp, and I can see what our meetings are versus tasks, etc., all in one space. It gives us a lot of clarity and a lot of repeatability in the work that we do. So it doesn't always feel like we're customizing every single engagement on the fly. It takes all that like mental load and energy load off of our plates for us. So what questions are coming up from the group?
Say who's asking, is there a different price for adding teams as opposed to a solopreneur?
In ClickUp, I do not believe so. I think, let's just click into the billing real quick and we can see I'm on Business Plus in full transparency because I do use a lot of automations. I use ClickUp AI, I do conditional logic and form. So I'm using more advanced features in the system, but they do have, you could do, look, 25,000 automations in the system. Or in my plan, just kidding. I thought it was a free to use ClickUp. Because I am certified in both Asana and ClickUp, I will say that when it comes to like how much you pay for what you have access to in ClickUp, it's a whole lot cheaper per team member than Asana is overall. Asana did just update. If any of you are using Asana or thinking about the difference between the systems, Asana just did update their pricing. So they end up becoming not as affordable over time.
So just I can answer that too. They do offer you free guests. I think like on that $19.
Oh, yes.
I have that same. So it's $19. You can do like a lot of this stuff on that $19 plan. So it's super affordable. Now I made the mistake. I added like a bunch of teams, and they do charge you $20 per team member, but you can put them as a guest. Yeah, see right there as a guest. For some reason, mine says 34 guests, and you get so many full members. But
members are like paid members who have access to things. Guests are people that you're giving permission maybe to one list or one folder in your workspace. They don't need to create things. They probably just need to work with you and comment on tasks or check things off. So you can have like some of half of these individuals are my team members, but I only give them access to maybe one folder or a couple of lists that they need to work with me within. Everybody else, yeah. Maya has full access to everything. She's my right hand in my business.
So hopefully that answered that.
Mary, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have templates for sale of any of this stuff?
That's a great question. We are actually in the process of building out our ClickUp template library to sell. I love it because ClickUp templates, if any of you are interested, we can chat and I can let you know what templates I recommend for your business. But ClickUp templates are so easy for you to go in and like find a template or access a URL that you've received from someone else, and then just literally drag and drop that template into your workspace and start using it right away. A lot different than other project management systems where you don't have that capability. They might give you like a map, a document, and you still have to go line by line and recreate that entire template in your project space. So.
I would love to, like, you've really got it dialed in on, like, I love how you have the HQ. I love how you have the branding one. I mean, all that stuff is something that I could definitely use for all my clients and stuff, like to have just something inside of ClickUp. Like, what was that one page that you showed?
Probably just our
The
headquarters
company
space.
one, maybe. Yeah, like that one where it has, I think it was that one. No, maybe it was a different one where you have no, it was the branding one, I think. The branding tab.
The branding list itself. So we have
Maybe. I don't know. You went kind of fast, so I can't remember what it was. But anyway,
no problem.
no. But anyway, you had like all the things that looked like maybe from it had like all your different logos, and
Yes.
so you could do that per client and have, if they had a brand guide they wanted to stick with for all the work you're doing for the client, like certain colors, all the hex codes I saw you had in there. That's important for what I do with web design, you know? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So to keep all of that in here, as opposed to like right now, how I have that onboarding, I use Typeform, but I could probably get rid of Typeform for that.
You can do it right within ClickUp Forms. Yeah.
I mean, which I should have thought of that already, but I probably, because I just had it already in there, and it's, once you have something, sometimes it's like, oh, I gotta go redo all this stuff. But
and that's the power of ClickUp is, well, Michelle, you know this, right? Like ClickUp, it looks like we're just managing projects and information, but there's forms associated with these. So like even us, when I'm working with big teams, they submit all of their materials to us in a form, and it just comes into that entire project list for us. And it automatically tags it and assigns it to the people. It gives it a due date 2 days out. So we know we're giving ourselves some time to review that new submission, all of those things. And you can set up automations pretty easily right within the system. I know, Carlos, you were having some questions earlier about different automations. There's just so much that you can do with automations right within ClickUp without using any other tools.
I would love to have that onboarding form automatically create tell me if this is possible. It probably is, but like, let's say I bring on a new web design client. And then there's going to be like all the steps and stages, like for the project. Is it possible that when they fill out the form, all the things from the form that they fill out create all the tasks and like automatically have due dates set, like however many days out, and when you want to get this done, when you need them to give you your content, if they're providing content? Is all of that, is that, yes?
Yeah. So when you set up a form and you're editing the form itself, you can use task templates associated with that new form submission. So that's something that we did in Offered Space is we built out a task template with subtasks and it signs it out and like due dates, everything. And so when the form submitted, it's building out all of that work for the team with every new submission. So it'd be a similar thing in your use case, it sounds like you'd have all of those steps built out for you.
Yeah, I do have something similar for SEO. Like one of the masterminds I'm in, they gave one of their ClickUp automations. So like it's a whole onboarding thing. And as soon as they onboard, it goes and it creates everything. So I love that. And I do use that one, but I don't have it built out for web, only for SEO.
Yeah.
So it has like your whole SOP and everything in there for everything you need to do for the.
Now I can attest, like Mary could look, because that's kind of like she almost started with me, right? Like she can look at, let's say, like the SEO one and make a version of that for your website. You know, just like when I started in a certain direction, and Mary's like, here, let me make life easier for you. And that
Let me
look
clean
and
this up a bit.
and that look and feel, yeah,
That's
exactly.
nice.
Which is super cool. Like, oh yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. There's
Mary,
a couple questions in chat.
yeah, I was gonna say, I know
yeah.
Kyle had that Asana question. You want to look
Yeah.
at that?
Well, it looked like Carla said, if I get ClickUp, do we need Asana? No. So ClickUp and Asana, I would consider them both like similar tools, but ClickUp will give you more for your time, energy, and money investment, to be honest. Like it can do so much more than what Asana can do. So no, just use one. Kyle said, since you know Asana ClickUp so well, I'm an Asana free user, 6 team members, around 20 clients. Eventually I have to up my game. I've got time tracking running through, time my invoicing, contracts, CRM. I'm sure I could combine a bunch of these into ClickUp. Yes. So I would say it would be well worth your time because once you start moving to the next tier, Kyle, and having to pay for those seats, it's going to actually be more expensive for you to run off of Asana than ClickUp. I would say do ClickUp. And if you truly want to integrate it with your other tools, your other platforms, then you would be able to sign up for something like Zapier. Now, Zapier does have a free account, so it's not like another paid system. But Zapier, it's free for like the first 5 zaps and up to, I think, 750 like triggered actions every month. So most people can start there and live off of that for a while before you have to do a paid upgrade. Yeah. So I would say ClickUp would be worth it once you start, especially for 20. Well, you have 6 team members, but still, I think Asana, once you go over, I think, I want to say it's now 5 seats for every 5 seats, like you're at another pricing tier. So it's because they're really trying to target more towards like enterprise size clients with their new pricing structure.
Richard,
how you doing, Richard? You're good?
Sorry, just
What do you use?
jump away from my question. I do appreciate. Oh, I gotta put my microphone in front of my face so you can actually hear me. It's just figuring out where I'm gonna jump over to that. It's everything seems to be running okay, and I haven't made any major mistakes, but I can see them coming down the pipeline. I can see, in Asana, I've got everything in like, because I got the free version, not the full one, so I don't have actual templates, but I've just created them in the list, and I've got them all at the bottom as just the templates, and I just duplicate them each time I put on a new client, and I've got all the steps already worked out and all of that. Time tracking synced to Time and I. It's just, I don't know, it works beautifully for me. And there's just integrations and everything else. And I feel at some point, because I'm very adverse to project management and overall, it's just not my strong point. I feel like I need to move to something like this, but I didn't know if I should go to ClickUp because it feels, it's a big beast. And I thought maybe I just grab something off AppSumo, but it's ClickUp is definitely where a lot of my peers are at. So I just want to make sure that this is the right move.
Well, I would say if you want like a true assessment, a behind the scenes like assessment of the readiness for your business to move over and what that level of effort would look like, I'd say book a power hour we can take a peek at what you have set up in Asana. Honestly, I moved from Asana into ClickUp, my own business, and they make it extremely easy, a little too easy to actually import anything from Asana into ClickUp and start working with it right away. I have worked with clients where they're actually moving from ClickUp to Asana because that particular client was an e-commerce client and they were like splitting up the business. So they wanted to move over to Asana, and it's a beast to go the other way.
Could I actually
Asana,
export everything? Is there like an export
there's
CSV
an
and we
actual
can just
right
bring it
within
over?
ClickUp. There's actually a like import from Asana. It's built into ClickUp, and you can go through a couple of steps, just a few clicks, and they'll pull everything in for you. It's
All right. That sounds right. That's cool.
ridiculously easy, honestly. But that's also something that I have done with clients too. So if you look at it and you're like, yeah, I want to do this, I just don't want to be the one doing this, we can talk.
Cool.
Dr. Walker's asking, if you have more than one business, do you suggest more than one account? It really depends on how unique your businesses are, Dr. Walker, and if there is any potential overlap. If there is overlap, whether it's the people involved, processes, like resources that you're using, I would say keep it in one. You can create different spaces to have a distinction between your different businesses. But if there is enough complexity and uniqueness between your multiple businesses, you can easily just, let me share my screen again, just real quick to show you this. You can easily have access to multiple workspaces, and I could just, with the click of a button, click over and be in Alfredo's business right now. Yeah, in your business. But it makes it easy to just toggle back and forth if you need to see things between the different workspaces. So hopefully that answered that question. If not, please do let me know. Fred said, I'm so lost when it comes to this and Notion. What's the differences between ClickUp and Notion? Yes, Notion can be good for a lot of things. If you're familiar with things like Wiki and other types of like documentation type of tools, I would say Notion's really great for that. I know a lot of people use Notion for the scale of our businesses for project management, but maybe it's just because I'm like a project management purist. It doesn't give me access to be able to see what work is happening, see across the way that something like ClickUp or even Asana honestly can do. Notion, in the ways that Notion's really good for document sharing, I would say in ClickUp, your equivalent to that would be, I'm going to pull you over into like one of my playbooks for one of my services. So my Asana playbook, this is very similar to Notion, right? Where you have documentation, links, files, you can include graphics and even pull in different things like tables and tasks right within a ClickUp document to share with others. You can do the same thing in ClickUp, but you can even look at this view as a list and see all of the steps in a project management perspective. So I would say I signed up for a free Notion account just to see what the hype was about and to better understand and have a perspective. But I say everything that Notion stands out strong in, you could actually do strongly in ClickUp as well. Michelle said, Kyle, do it. You won't regret it. We're biased though, Michelle, aren't we? It's honestly not as hard as it looks. It's pretty, yeah, it is pretty simple once you dive in, but for anybody who's just starting from scratch, I can imagine, I know how overwhelming it can be at first glance. I even fought like getting into ClickUp for so long because I was so adamant that Asana was going to be the one tool for everything. But there was just enough out there that was pointing me towards ClickUp where I said, you know what, I have to sign up for this and understand why I'm hesitating, and I haven't turned back since I signed up for it. So if anybody wants to talk further about the benefits of ClickUp or if it might be right for you, feel free to even use, Alfredo, you put in like my Clarity Call link instead of the Power Hour link. Feel free to book a Clarity Call and we can talk. No, I'm saying like use the Clarity Call link because it won't actually charge you to book that time with me. But the Power Hour
I
will
took
charge
it from your website.
from my website. Perfect.
Yeah. So, guys, we are coming up to the 60 mark. Any last minute questions? Hopefully you found this super valuable. I'm totally, this has made my life a lot easier. I think it'll give you some clarity, kind of take things out of your head, put it on paper. It doesn't matter where you're at in your process. It's super affordable. You'll thank me later for sure. And let me see. If you want to put your links in there, Mary, I know it's kind of got buried in there, just to make sure we got the right ones on there. It's Mary's last name.net, if I remember right. Is that right?
Yes, I know. It's, if anybody is familiar with Game of Thrones, we're like the Targaryens, just without the dragons. So it's Zargarian.org actually is my email and website address. And then I put in, at least in the Zoom chat, the ClickUp sign up link or a power hour if you're interested.
Yeah,
I was
guys.
going to ask you if you like Game of Thrones, Mary.
I know.
So awesome, guys. Now, Mary, with all our guests, we try to keep this fun and exciting. So I know you kind of were prepping for this, but with all our guests, my last question to you would be, what is a fun fact about you that nobody knows?
Fun facts. I know. I used to be people know this, but you wouldn't know from this conversation. So I used to be a mindset coach for working moms when I first started my business now 7 years ago, and a Reiki master. So if any of you are into energetics, I was practicing Reiki and helping people center their chakras and their energy. And it's so interesting to see the pivot of how my business evolved into business operations. But I say, like, set up the systems and things so you have time to go do the things that you want to do that are non-work related. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Mary. I can't wait. We'll speak some more for sure. I think this ClickUp is a organic beast, right? It's alive and it's ever growing, evergreen as well. So guys, with that said, tomorrow we have Lee interlinking, make it easy, fast and effective, how we can improve our SEO. And I appreciate everyone that catches the replay, those that are on the live now here. And with that being said, much love and much success, and I'll see you on the next one.